New plans to manage PMVs in Port Moresby. Miss Pacific Islands Pageant PNG scholarship opens. And Vikings raise funds for late Kato's family.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and welcome. This is Saturday's news. APEC Governor Alan Bird is urging the relocated islanders of Kato to move to the mainland. The governor flew to Rup Island today with Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare to talk to the islanders. Governor Bird says volcanic development taking place at Kato and nearby island of Biem is a concern with another possible eruption. Currently, all islanders at Kato have been resettled at Rup Island. Last of the relief supplies were also distributed this afternoon. Governor Bird says talks with landowners at Dandan in the Turubu LLG have been positive for a portion of land for the resettlement exercise. He says relocation must happen in the next 48 hours. The Miss Pacific Islands Pageant PNG scholarship for 2018 is now open to all female students in their second final and final years in tertiary institutions. This was announced by Chair Lady Molly O'Rourke when accepting a cheque donation from the Royal Papua Yacht Club for the pageant scholarship program. The scholarship program is entirely education, health and agriculture.
Applications for the Miss Pacific Island Pageant PNG Scholarship Program is now open to all young women.
Miss Pacific Islands Scholarship Fund is paid towards individuals only for their tuition fees. We only pay for tuition fees. Scholarship is for young women, as Nia said, in the last or final year of college or university, not for first year students, because in a lot of cases, the first year students don't complete or don't go back to complete the whole university year.
Since 2011, the scholarship program has supported 246 young women around the country through funds raised from the crowning ball and the pageant show. So far, it has spent more than 68 million kina for the scholarship alone. This week, the Royal Papua Yacht Club donated 5,530 kina raised from the 2017 Melbourne Cup raffle sales.
The pageant hosts its glamour event to crowning a new queen to represent our country. Each year, also, the pageant allows young women across the country to be crowned with knowledge in the various institutions they are in. Last year witnessed such beneficial partnership of the Miss Pacific Island Pageant PNG with the Royal Papua Yacht Club. They have chosen to support this scholarship fund, and thus today I acknowledge the management and the club of Royal Papua Yacht Club for such an initiative that they have partnered with the pageant, allowing the pageant now to further sponsor more girls into having them realizing their dreams.
So honored to be a part of this initiative, and I'd like to thank our General Manager, Aaron Batts, and also our functions team under the Sarah Gaibiri, who's been assisting us with this event.
Meanwhile, in honor of former Miss Pacific PNG, the late Rugby and Laufa, Miss Pacific Islands Pageant PNG is opening its doors to support young women in law. The Rugby and Laufa Award will support a successful applicant who has completed a law degree and wants to continue legal studies at the Legal Training Institute. Applications for both programs will close on February 2 at 5 p.m. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan says they will continue their investment on scholarship programs overseas. But while it remains a very expensive exercise, students selected must work hard to levels of expectation. This week, Sir Julius challenged scholarship recipients Sharon Komenang, Savannah Chamber, Emmanuel Myra and Tapilas Victor to work hard while studying in Australia. Girls will study at Stuart Holmes College and boys at the Marist Ashgrove College, well known for producing some of the best footballers like Wallabies Des Connor and John Ailes. Meanwhile, 3 students will continue with their studies this year. Detainees and correctional officers of Leisbuimo Prison were presented with Bibles by the Gideon's International Society. Over 1,000 copies were presented yesterday, with Prison Commander Felix Namane urging inmates to look after their Bibles, read it every day, and treasure it as their only friend in the prison. The Gideon's International Society has so far distributed over 20 million copies of Bibles to the defense, military base, police, hotels and prisons. You're watching MTV's National News. More stories after these short messages. Welcome back. APEC Minister Justin Tichenko says all construction work is ahead of the scheduled time. This indicates that Papua New Guinea is ready to accommodate the 21 APEC nations. 2 major events expected to be the biggest global summit in the country is the APEC CEO in October and Leaders Summit in November.
The countdown begins for the 2018 APEC Summit. The APEC House, Ella Beach Waterfront, Star Mountain Hotel and hosting provinces have 8 months to prepare for the CEO Summit and 10 months for the Leaders Summit. This is where presidents and prime ministers of the 21 APEC nations are expected to attend, and another 10,000 plus delegates and visitors. This week, the Prime Minister toured the APEC House and was pleased with the progress of the work. And according to the APEC Minister, it's 2 weeks ahead of the schedule.
Number one, APEC House, where the Leaders Summit meeting is going to be and some of the meetings are going to be, is 2 weeks ahead of schedule. That magnificent building is going along very, very well, and I thank the contractor and Oil Search for all their efforts in making that possible, working with the APEC Authority, working with myself.
Construction work continues for the APEC House, which comes along with the Ella Beach Waterfront, which should be completed by June.
Ella Beach will be finished by June, July this year. The roads are already going in, the islands are being done, the sand's being laid, the landscaping will be done. So I'm confident in most of the work is being done quite quickly. The Convention Centre will be finished in the next 3 months by the Chinese government. So,
for accommodation, Star Mountain Hotel was highlighted as a countermeasure to accommodate visitors.
For Star Mountain, the Hilton Hotel, it's going along very well. Full steam ahead. They're now doing the fit-outs of the main tower. The Convention Centre that is being built is already the roof's up, and they're now doing the fit-outs. So I'm pleased in that regard. The CEO Summit will be held in Princess Dawn, or Dawn Princess, one of the big ships. And a lot of the CEOs and those that attend the meeting will be staying in the ship. So when it comes to security and logistics, it's all a one-stop shop. Very easy to manage and to run.
Meanwhile, preparations are underway in the outside centres.
Taking out leaders and ministers and CEOs to other parts of the country to show them opportunities in Lae or in Madang or in Eastern Highlands or Hagen or wherever it may be, where they might be interested in setting up business or investing into. So it's for our benefit too to get as many of the visitors out to the other provinces to see our wonderful country and to see the opportunities that might be available to.
Adelaide Sirks Kari, National, MTV News.
The public transport system in Port Moresby is set to change to a more structural transport system. Road Traffic Authority Chief Executive Officer Nelson Terema says they have requested for bus owners to submit expression of interest to set up bus companies to manage the public motor vehicle in Port Moresby.
The public motor vehicles in Port Moresby can be called the lifeline of most city residents who depend entirely on it for means of transportation. Whether it's the working class people in the public and private sector, students or in the SME sector, they use this transport medium. However, in recent times, there is an issue with overcrowding PMVs causing traffic hazards every day in the capital city. Recently, there has been an increase in white plate PMVs on the city roads. PMVs are legally supposed to be registered under a P plate. Road Traffic Authority CEO Nelson Terma says they have put a ban on giving P plate registrations up until a bus management company is set up.
For bus management companies to operate in the city, and about 12 different bus management companies shown their interest, and that they have already got detailed information from us. We have given them 1 month notice, so they will be coming back with their detailed information, and then the board will deliberate on it in early February. In that is one way to address all those issues in buses operating with white plates.
The Road Traffic Authority has given a contract to a company to carry out feasibility surveys on bus routes in Port Moresby.
The company is now working on feasibility studies now. Shortly they will work on the project, and that project is basically to determine the supply and the demand of public transport. Some of the suburbs, they are more populated than other suburbs. So we will see that study will determine, will assist us to allocate certain number of buses for those particular routes.
Meanwhile, they will be increasing the bus routes to the outskirts of the capital city.
So there are already about 25 routes been approved by the previous Land Transport Board. So under RTA, we are also looking at trying to increase, because the city has been defaulted and there are people moving, further out to the suburbs. And the road constructions and road development has been also taking place, and we have to accommodate where the people are living so that, PMV public transports can be provided on those, which routes are not being covered in the previous 25 routes been approved. So the board, RTA board, will be sitting in February to see how many more routes will be added to the existing 25.
With the setup of the bus management company, Tarama says this will make it easier to find buses breaching traffic laws.
We identify bus management companies. That's where we will be closely having dialogues with our operators or the management company on how they can look after and how they can manage, avoiding the traffic penalties and following the traffic rules and regulations.
The Road Traffic Authority is expected to deliberate on whom to manage the bus management company in February. They will also carry out awareness to bus owners on the change of public transport in the city. Adelaide Sirux Kari National, EMTV News.
The New Ireland provincial government this week has summoned contractors to reach a common understanding on the progress of government development projects. Governor Sir Julius Chan, in a roundtable discussion with representatives from several road contractors, said the government needed the confidence to be demonstrated through their competitive performance. Sir Julius said road infrastructure projects are priority for this year and more funding will be allocated for repair and maintenance also. On a related note, New Ireland Province will partner with China Railway International Group for infrastructure development. There has been an ongoing discussion with Governor Sir Julius Chan and his technical team on the planned development of several major impact projects in the province. This includes government offices, KVN Foreshore Development, New Ireland University, KVN Sports Stadium and the new KVN Market. They are also liaising with the Works Department on the technical and engineering aspects of the projects. Governor Sir Julius assured China Railway his government is serious about development and will not enter into any agreement without the financial capacity. Stories making headlines overseas when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, 2 men were captured wrestling in the middle of a busy street in Sydney. But what sparked the fight remains a mystery.
Exercises out of Darwin under a defence deal being negotiated by Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull. He'll meet Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tokyo next week. They'll also discuss how to transport military equipment and ammunition between the two countries more easily. It's part of a strategy to counter China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific.
Dolly Everett, the 14-year-old bullied to death, was remembered in today's funeral service in Australia. Even her great-grandmother was present with tears throughout the service.
Hundreds have gathered in Toowoomba to join a family member saying goodbye to Dolly Everett. It was originally meant to be a small gathering for a great-grandmother grieving the loss of her 14-year-old great-granddaughter.
Dolly Everett, the most beautiful angel in our skies, is off to save lives and chasing rainbows.
They vowed to denounce bullying in memory of Dolly.
Japanese troops could conduct exercises out of Darwin under a defence deal being negotiated by Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull.
Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tokyo next week. They'll also discuss how to transport military equipment and ammunition between the two countries more easily. It's part of a strategy to counter China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific.
And Australia's Foreign Minister Julie Bishop was present at a get-together this afternoon. Here's a look.
Fillies and their fashionable blokes trying their best to stay out of the elements.
The dress and the shoes. We got wine, we're fine.
The heavens opened early in the day, drenching the field ahead of the first match.
Holding the mallet gets a bit slippery in your hand, but it doesn't really affect us too much. It's more safety for the horses.
Marquees were packed with models, footy stars and their famous partners, but it was Foreign Minister Julie Bishop who turned the most heads.
There are a lot of people here enjoying the day. I'm here with friends and having a great time.
The dress code is fun, light and anything frilly. The only rule, not to let the weather get in the way.
As long as you're having a good time, that's the main thing.
Rain, hail, shine, we're here.
For many, the drive down the Mornington Peninsula was one of nostalgia.
We had a nice drive reminiscing about our childhoods on the way up along the coast in Portsea, and Asha spent a lot of her childhood up here as well.
For me, I'm from the peninsula, so coming here feels like home to me, and it's so exciting.
For others, it was simply a chance to stretch out the festive season.
It might have the same look and feel as the races, but the polo has a unique difference. What happens on the field is more a showcase than a competition, so there's no pressure to pick a winner.
It's kind of like soccer with horses and sticks, but no one really watches it.
Every year, I don't think I watch an ounce of polo, but this year I'm like, oh yeah, someone scored, they're going to swap sides. So yeah, I do know quite a lot.
Of course, unlike the races, everyone here is welcome to take part, if only to stomp a divot and prepare the field for the next match.
This is National EMTV News. We have Trukai Sports in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned for that.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. To cricket, the PNG Under-19 Garmuts faced a strong Zimbabwe side today in their 2018 ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup opener and went down by 10 wickets with 6 overs remaining. In what was deemed by the commentary as a quick fold, Garmuts played their allotted 20 overs and managed 96 runs. Unfortunately, that score was not stiff enough as Zimbabwe replied swiftly. And with most experienced players on their side, Zimbabwe is set to chase in the second inning, with their opening 2 batsmen wiping out the 96-run target in just 14 overs. Garmuts now look to face an even bigger opposition, India, next Tuesday, while Zimbabwe takes on Australia. Trukai Sports continues after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The autonomous region of Bougainville is also mourning the death of rising rugby league star Kato. Public Service Minister of the Autonomous Bougainville Government, Robert Hamal Sawa, was the first to express his heartfelt condolences to Kato's mother Joyce, the immediate and extended family for the loss of their son. Minister Sawa says the late Kato is a true son of Bougainville because his maternal side. His mother Joyce, by birthright, is from the autonomous region of Bougainville and Tatana of Central Province. And constitutionally, as per the Bougainville Constitution, the late Kato Otio is also Bougainvillean. Minister Sawa said it's not by mistake the late Kato played rugby league, as the genesis of rugby league and state of origin dates back to Bougainville in 1942, and also Central Province hosting the first indigenous to play. His pride in representing Papua New Guinea on the world map is a prophecy which he fulfilled with the recent one, playing in front of home crowd at the Rugby League World Cup. Moreover, his outstanding performance with Canberra Raiders, especially the Mounties, will be remembered, and his recruitment to the Vikings. He said Kato's passing leaves a legacy behind, and his great talent has united Papua New Guineans in the world of rugby league during his short stint. On behalf of the people of the autonomous region of Bougainville and its autonomous Bougainville government, may you rest in eternal peace. The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League has opened a Kato Otio Trust Fund account to help the late hero's family. This has been announced by Chairman Sandy Saka. All donations will be deposited into this account. Meanwhile, UK's Vikings, while paying tribute to late Kato Otio, and also raised some funds to assist the family. Another homegrown talent, Stanton Albert, has been recruited by Witness Vikings just days after the loss of rising star Kato Otio. Stanton Albert is the brother of Wellington Albert, to join Vikings for the 2018 season. It's a 2-year contract in the Super League for the 23-year-old, who will join his brother after the sudden loss of close friend and Vikings recruit Kato Otio. Stanton has a wealth of experience in the Queensland Cup for both Hunters and Panthers. Witness coach Dennis Betts says the club had real interest in Stanton even before the World Cup. And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. A shower or two in Port Moresby and Alotau. Mostly fine in Daru. Fine weather in Kerama and few showers in Popondetta. In the Momase region, few showers in Lae, thundery showers in Medang, brief thundery showers in Wewak, and fine weather in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, few showers in Lorengau and Kimbe, brief showers clearing in Kavieng, thundery showers in Kokopo and Rabaul, and cloudy periods in Buka. And in the Highlands region, brief showers, then morning fog in all centres. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait, Daru to Kiwai Island, Kerma to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samare Island, waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands and waters of Samare Island to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen, waters of Finschhafen to Vitias, Dampier Strait to Siasi Islands to Long Island, with waters of Long Island to Medang, Bogia to Wewak, Aitape to Vanimoa northern PNG Indonesian border, and waters of Manus and its western group of islands, New Island to New Britain to Bougainville, seas of 0.5 to 1 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Sea. Seas smooth to slight with east to southeast winds at 5 to 10 knots. In the Solomon Sea, seas smooth to slight with northeast winds at 5 to 10 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas smooth to slight with northeast to southeast winds at 5 to 10 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas slight with northeast winds at 5 to 10 knots.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, worth doing with Dulux.
And before we go, the quokka, one of Australia's cutest native animals, will be named on Qantas' third Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner after the quokka. These pictures from Qantas shows quokka is unique and largely found on Rottnest Island off the coast of Perth. Quokkas are described as the happiest animal on Earth and are even known to enjoy a selfie with tourists. Quokka was among the most popular suggestions in a national poll of more than 60,000 entries to name the airline's fleet of 8 Dreamliners. And now, recapping our main stories for tonight. Road Traffic Authority sets new plans to manage PMVs in Port Moresby. Miss Pacific Islands Pageant PNG scholarship opens, and Vikings raise funds for late Kato's family. And that's the news for Saturday, the 13th of January 2018. From all of us here at EMTV, pleasant viewing. Good night.